Hello and welcome back to another video. So this is part 2 of a, I don't know how many part series, I guess. Some exciting news. This part's a little more, might I say interesting than the first part, because the house is coming in 2 days. That's right, Thursday, June 5th, I think it is. The house is set to come. In the first part, I went over how I set up this pad. I might just run over some quick details. So basically dug down, got fill dirt, and did some fancy stuff because of the frost heave regulations and whatnot. So yeah, in this video we're gonna start off with getting the first anchors in. So now there's a lot of mixed, what's the right word for it? Mixed ideas, I guess you could say, of what the proper anchor is for a mobile home. I figure if I follow that like the HUD code stuff, I can't go wrong. But even in that, it's a little questionable. The part that is questionable is so you have your normal trailer house tie downs, right? Like along the rails go like this, and you have them like that. So that is for wind longitudinal or latitudinal, I forget which one's which now. But anyways, the one that is a little questionable is if I need any on the rails going longitudinal. So I guess that makes the first one latitudinal. Anyways, so it's a question because in the HUD code, and I might show a little snippet here, it says something along the lines of it's required in wind zones, in all wind zones, first of all, and then later it says it's required in wind zones 2 and 3. So I'm in wind zone 1, so I might not need it. And I talked to a trailer house supply place, and they're like, yeah, we're pretty sure like the longitudinal or latitudinal ones count. Where's my socket here? But I don't know. They also, I guess the code's not up to date, and especially, so I'm in Wisconsin, and it just says like, yeah, the HUD code's acceptable, blah, blah, blah. So apparently there's a lot of code that's not up to date. They make these new, I think is it Minutemen? I think it's Minutemen makes this new anchor system that's like a couple stabilizers and you're done. So I went ahead to do all this, but it's kind of confusing too, because your house can tip over, and I'm not trusting it to, from what I saw, I might be wrong on this, but the picture they gave me, or like pamphlet thing, it was just 4 little stakes on a corner plate on 2 corners. And I don't know if that's supposed to be in concrete or something, if there's code missing there too, or I don't know. But I'm not trusting my house to that. So I'm going way overkill according to that. And I have 16 anchors. So I'm gonna have 2 on each end of the rails for like longitudinal, and then 12 along the length of the house. So what I'm doing today is getting these 4 on the ends, because in the code it shows a picture of it, and it's a little I don't know how you'd get to it after the house is here. So that's what I'm doing. I have this, obviously this anchor here. I made this little doohickey thing, that the little adapter that I can get this guy on it. And I have, where are you? Come here. I had to get a new one of these because when I was changing my dump truck brakes, I was trying to get the drum off, or the lug nuts off, and broke this guy off. But so I got this, we're gonna do that. I also have a Milwaukee Impact. I'm gonna try that first, just because, you know, it's easier. And but yeah, that's the story there. So yeah, I guess I'll measure where it needs to be based off of like the angle and the height of the trailer that I plan for it to be at. And yeah, hopefully this just gets knocked out. And then for when the house comes, I'll put like a piece of wood over it or something, so that it doesn't get ran over, because I'm sure that would probably pop a tire. And I don't even know if I don't know. All right, so this is the end of my house here. I'm gonna put it in somewhere in this area. So if you look at this top picture, it's kind of hard to see. I might put something else up, but on the left there's a ground anchor, then the tie down strap, and then like the frame thing. So it looks like, I'm not gonna measure. I was gonna, but I don't feel like it. So I'm just gonna throw it in like right here. And if I need to adjust it where it is on the rail, I can always do that after. Alrighty, so approximately there. And I have all this fun clay stuff to get through first. Might have to revisit that situation. We're just gonna try this first just to see what happens. 2, sure. I think we need some more horsepower here. I don't want to kill on my battery. I think once we get through this clay, that thing might work pretty good. We'll have to see how much torque it takes, but it's actually going in. I shouldn't even say this, but it's going in a lot easier than I anticipated. And you know what? Let me grab the instructions real quick. I don't know if you're supposed to go straight up with it. I don't know. I think it doesn't really matter too much. I think it's more, you don't want to exceed 45 degrees because that's more with your angle. So if pulling does happen, and I'll show you, there's something else too. There needs to be a stabilizer plate. Since these don't have, I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's like a cone that sits right underneath the top of this that resists lateral motion or horizontal motion, whichever one you want to call it. This bolt keeps wanting to come out. I suppose I could put a nut on it. Yeah, just a little too much for her, I think. Some pretty nice tools and I don't want to ruin it. It's really not too bad going like this. So right as soon as I put you in time lapse, my very well made adapter here broke. I kind of didn't like the placement of it anyways because it's a little bit crooked, but yeah. The little Harbor Freight welder didn't really get a good like deep down something or another, whatever you want to call it. So just gonna clean this up, go weld it again. I have some other stuff to weld too though, and I'm expecting company here in a little bit, so I think I'll wait until later and just do other stuff for now. But yeah, all right. So this thing broke, and that's where we left off. So I got it all welded up, and then in the meantime, my lovely assistant here, who's now my fiance, according to my last video, we filled in some of these divots so that as the house is going over it, it's not so like bumpy and stuff. I can't remember if I explained that before or not, but basically we're continuing this part here. So I think I went in too far with it already. It's not supposed to be in, I think it said like a foot or something like that up, which, I mean, I guess that's close kind of. But then the stabilizer plate goes, I think it said 4 to 5 inches or something. I don't know. I don't think it's really that deep. But so this stabilizer plate is for when this pulls, it can't go, because then like this whole part, actually it should probably be closer, but because then all of this surface area is pushing against the dirt. So my lovely fiance here is going to be pounding this in for us today.
How deep?
All the way.
What?
Maybe it's good that it rained because this thing went in a lot easier than it would have.
That's true. How far? Keep going?
All the way, yeah.
I feel like it's not upright anymore.
What do you mean? Oh, it's fine. Perfect. So now she's gonna finish turning this in. No, I'm just kidding. She finds it difficult for her puny arms. It is pretty hard. I'll probably get a pipe or something to put on the end of this, but yeah, I'll throw you in time lapse now while I finish this. Well, I got everything on my list done that I wanted to get done. I got the 4 anchors in, got it kind of more leveled. I got the wood cut for the caps. I got some materials here for the cradles for the jacks, the bottle jacks that I have. Got some wedges there, plastic, and then the rest of the anchors here. And then got my dump truck here just in case I need it. And I'll have to get a hitch if I do have to move it, because I don't know like how high the trailer is going to be, so I have to measure that first. But yeah, so the next time you see me, it's going to be a trailer here. All right, here it is. Just kidding, we ran into some problems. All right, here it is. Just kidding, we ran into some problems. So originally, the driver I was gonna have just like come in and kind of go over and then back it up. But he was like, oh, I'm gonna have to drive in that field. And it's my grandpa's field, but it's not, it shouldn't be drove in. He would have gotten stuck, which he got stuck anyways. But so he ended up coming around, and I'll put a video here. And once he got stuck here, he didn't have a point on his truck to pull from the front. So we hooked up to the hitch on this side and started pulling that way with the tractor because his back wheel was here and he was yelling because the chain was getting in his wheel, so we had to move it over further. And then the hitch pulled sideways. So since it like broke down, the bottom of this was stuck against like because he had his ball assembly, whatever you want to call it here, and then the ball was up on top. So the bottom of it was smacking on the bottom, so we couldn't get the hitch off, so we grinded it off. So now we have no way to move it, really. I mean, not no way, there's always a way, but we're gonna have to get a little more creative, I think. So I don't know if we'll end up using this and kind of, I don't know, dude said to just drag it in, but I'm not gonna do that, especially because like, well, this is the garden first of all. That's probably why you got stuck. And then I don't want to rip up the pad either. So we'll probably lift it up a little, somehow either chain it on there and pull it in, or we'll get another tractor with a 3-point that's big enough to lift this up. And yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I guess I'll update you once I don't know if I'll have it on video on how we do that, but yeah. Well, it's mostly in position now. We kind of had to drag it across some of these cinder blocks, like this one I already put back. There's one on the other side somewhere back there. I don't know if you can see it, that I have to put back, but otherwise we're pretty good. I don't know what happened when I was making like putting these in, but for some reason this one is too far that way. And I know that was the last one, so maybe I was just rushing. This side's pretty good, but it seems like this whole side is just a little too far this way. So I don't know. I know I didn't measure wrong on all of them, but then the frame is what it says it is too. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but I don't know. I think at least this one I'm gonna dig up and move over, and then if there's any that are close, I'm also gonna do that with those two. But oh, there's a shovel. Didn't know where I put it. So yeah. Now we're gonna, or I guess I'm gonna probably reposition that block and then start. Actually, I might take that axle off first. But then I'm gonna start stacking them up. Gotta get the plastic underneath there. That plastic will go down on the ground right now, and then the rest of the blocks will go on top of the blocks. So and I probably won't record that just because my GoPro camera died, battery died. So yeah, so that's what's happening. It's probably kind of boring anyways. So, and then I don't know if I got a close-up of the hitch, but this is the final product. I don't know. But yeah, on the front, I don't know if you remember, because like now, I guess it's the same way off. But then this side is, I guess the whole thing could kind of go like this way a little bit. It might help a little bit. I don't know. I'll play with it. Well, here she is. Under her own power. I didn't record it because I didn't know I was going to be doing this yesterday. Last I believe I was on camera, I had to get it over 2 inches yet, towards like this way. It's over, this one was like right in the center, and then this one I cheated the blocks over a little bit. It was like way over. So I wanted to get it over before doing everything, because I didn't want the front of the house to eventually sink, because all the blocks were like side loaded or whatever you want to call it, like not evenly distributed. So what we ended up doing is I jacked up the back, and then with my grandpa's tractor here, we just pulled it, and I had the chain like up and around the frame where the wheels were connected. It's like double framed or double I-beamed, and so it's a little stronger, so that's where we pulled from that way on like on the other side. But yeah, so we got it over, and then it was like around 11 we got it done, and then I worked until like 9 o'clock last night getting it all jacked up and on its blocks here. Took a while to get started just because I had to dig. I don't know where exactly it was here, but I had to like dig down so that I could get a jack under it, because this part, like as you can see, maybe you can't see, I'm getting closer. There's like all this dirt on here, like that was down in the dirt, so we had to drag it up. So, and actually this is the first thing I'm gonna do today is get this hitch off, or the tongue. And I don't know if I think I might have to jack it up so I can get one of these sides out, so I can actually pull it out. And then I'm gonna start with anchoring it. Yeah, I wanted to record this whole process because I think it would have been cool to see like the time lapse of it, like from sitting there to, oh, it's jacked up, that stuff's under it, then I go back here, jack that side up, and then get the wheels out, or take the wheels off and get the axles out. I think it would have been cool to see, but it was like, what was it? Probably like a 14-15 hour day yesterday, so I know the camera wouldn't have stayed alive that long, but I guess I could have recorded some of it, but I was just going at it yesterday and I didn't even have time to. Yeah, the door's open good now, and there's the inside. But yeah, I guess I'll get started getting that hitch out, and then we'll start on the anchors. I don't think I'll record the anchors. I might record the hitch. Alright, I got the tongue out. Now I'm gonna start putting in the anchors. I also re-leveled the front because with the tongue on there I couldn't see these front two. One was high and one was low, but I kind of just split the difference because I don't know if I don't think the frame is level, as weird as that sounds. It just, I was chasing my tail all day yesterday, setting up the level, unless my level's crooked somehow, the line, which I don't. But yeah, like yesterday I had it all level, and then when I let it down, there was a couple where it wasn't touching the frame, and it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? So I would jack it up a little bit and then tighten it a little and then let it back down so that they all had pressure. But like now they have pressure, but it's different. I don't know how you're supposed to, like, what's the point of leveling when the frame itself isn't level? Maybe I'm doing something wrong, which I don't, because it's not rocket science. You see a line and that's where you put the wood, so that, or the frame, whatever you want to say. But yeah, so I think it's good enough. If it causes issues with like settling more on one side than the other, obviously I'll probably have to level it like every year. I plan on doing it anyways, or every 2 years. So, but yeah, so now I get to put in some anchors and I guess go from there. All right, well there we have it. Oh, is it seriously starting to rain? Anyways, so yeah, everything's up here. We got all of the anchors in. Yeah, I don't know, not a whole lot to those. You just kind of screw them in, and then you you wrap that around in so that the hook goes like on the opposite side of the frame there, and then it goes and wraps around over top of the hook again down here through the like slit in the bolt. I don't know if you can see it there, and then you just turn the bolt, and then there's like a square edge or whatever you want to call it on the bottom of the bolt there, or the bottom, like the bolt head. So you tighten it up, and then you tighten this nut, and then it pulls that square into there, and then that's what holds that tight. So the inspector already came through and said everything was good. There's a couple things, especially with the foundation, that I was a little worried about, I guess you could say, but he said it was good, so it must be good. What else? I don't know, like, it's kind of, I think I already might have talked about this too, but it's a little confusing the way some of the stuff's written, like that it needs, but this clamp is like a lot cheaper than the rest of the clamps, where it's just the, without this bottom like square bit hanging down. It's the same thing basically, just this one's meant for the tube braces, which is like a newer system, and then I just clamped up the hook thing in there because these straps were cheaper than the ones that were meant for that, and they do exactly the same thing, so that's what I did. Got all the axles out here. It worked the last time. Last one. Those were like hardly on there. All of these things were loose, which bolts directly to the frame. 2 of them had trailer brakes. Ooh, a little slippery there. And then around this back side, got some tires here. Got the foundation under there. I'm gonna have to do something about this tire track. The water kind of filled that up. It is raining. That's annoying. It has to stop raining so that the septic guy can come in and do his stuff. Unfortunately, I won't be my own septic person because of code and laws and stuff, but that's all right. I'll just pay 30 grand. Literally, that's what I was quoted at, is 30 grand to put in a septic. So yeah, I love spending money that I could have done myself for probably less than half the price, but you know what, that's whatever. That's life, I suppose. Yeah, now I'm gonna start back on the well, and it's been like a month or so process. No, a lot longer than that. Started that in like March, I think, February. Yeah, it's been, I don't know, but I got like a 1.5 feet to go down yet, and then I'll be good and I can start pumping water out of it. So stay tuned for that video if you want to see it. Tried a lot of different things to get that down easier, and it just, nothing more tried and true than just smacking it with the post pounder. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked it, check out some of my other videos. Subscribe if you want. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Toodles.